When I got home, Mama said to me, just like always, let me see, I have to look up this. Okay. New Shanki, do you have any homework? I need a clothespin, I said. A clothespin? What kind of homework is a clothespin? I have to make a doll out of it, a pilgrim doll. Mom frowned. New Makala, what's a pilgrim? Now that phrase is my Molly. I searched for the words to explain pilgrim to Mama. Pilgrims came to this country from the other side, I said. Like us, Mama said. That was true. They came for religious freedom, I added. They came so they could worship God as they pleased. Mama's eyes lit up. She seemed to understand. Do you have any other homework? She asked. Yes, I said. I have 10 arithmetic problems. They're hard. Do them, she said, and then go out to play. I'll make the doll for you. I'll make it tonight. I'll be ready for you in the morning. It'll be ready for you in the morning. Just make sure it's a girl doll, I said. Naturally, Mom replied. Who ever heard of a boy doll? I didn't bother to explain. Okay, this is the second part of the assignment. So I think the question said something about Molly's doll. So I want you to answer that before going any further. The next morning, when I sat down at the table for breakfast, the doll was at my place. Maybe she had started out as a clothespin, but you would never have known it to look at her. Mama had covered the clothespin with cloth and stuffing. She had made hair out of dark brown yarn, and she'd embroidered eyes, a nose, and a mouth on her face. She had dressed the doll in a long red skirt, tiny black felt boots, and a bright yellow high-necked blouse. She had covered the yarn hair with a yellow kerchief. Okay, if you look over to the right, Mama has one on her head. It's like a little piece of cloth that covers the head, embroidered with red flowers. She's gorgeous, Mama, I managed to murmur. Mama smiled, satisfied. But Mama, I added slowly, she doesn't look like the pilgrim woman in the picture in my reading book. No, Mama said. She looks like you in that photograph you have that was taken when you were a girl. Mama's smile turned into a laugh. Of course, I did that on purpose. You did, Mama? Why? What's a pilgrim? Shinkit, Mama asked. A pilgrim is someone who came here from the other side to find freedom. That's me, Molly. I'm a pilgrim. I was sure there was something wrong with what Mama was saying. She was not the kind of pilgrim Miss Stickley or the reading book had been talking about. But it was too late to make another doll now. All I could do was take the only one I had to school with me. Most of the dolls were out on the desks. Now, if you look at the top, there are probably some of the dolls that the kids made. I had carried mine in a little paper bag. I put it inside my desk without even taking it out of the bag. The bell hadn't rung yet. Elizabeth and Hilda were walking up and down the aisles, pointing to the dolls and whispering. When they came to my desk, Elizabeth said in a low voice, Miss Stickley is going to be mad at you, Jolly Molly. She doesn't like people who don't do their homework. I did it, I muttered. Well, then let's see it. I shook my head. You didn't do it, Elizabeth taunted. You did it. You didn't. I opened the desk and took out the paper bag. I closed the desk and set the bag on top. Slowly, I pulled out the doll. Oh, my goodness, Elizabeth sighed. How can anyone be as dumb as you, Jolly Molly? That's not a pilgrim. Miss Stickley is going to be really mad at you. Miss Stickley is going to get you this time. My face felt hot as fire. I looked down at my desktop. The bell rang. Elizabeth and Hilda rushed to their seats. I shoved the doll back into my desk. After morning exercises, Miss Stickley began to walk around the room, just as Elizabeth had. She looked at each of the dolls. Why, Michael, what a magnificent headdress. Where did you find so many feathers? Sally, she's lovely. Such an interesting face. Such beautiful gray silk, Elizabeth. Yours is a very rich pilgrim. I think she's the best so far, Elizabeth said. Well, she's very good, Miss Stickley allowed. Then Miss Stickley came to me. Without looking up, I pulled my doll out of the desk. I heard Elizabeth laugh out loud. My goodness, Molly, she cried. That's not a pilgrim. That's some Russian or Polish person. What does a person like that have to do with pilgrims? She's very beautiful, Miss Stickley said. Perhaps Molly just didn't understand. I looked up at Miss Stickley. Mama said, I began. Elizabeth giggled again. Miss Stickley put her hand on my shoulder. Tell me what your mama said. Molly, this doll is dressed like Mama, I explained slowly. Mama came to America for religious freedom, too. Mama said she is a pilgrim. Do you think Mama is right? Does she fit the description of being a pilgrim? Elizabeth hooted. She wasn't the only one. Miss Stickley marched up to the front of the room. She turned and faced the class. "Listen to me, Elizabeth," she said in a loud voice. "Listen to me, all of you. Molly's mother is a pilgrim. She's a modern pilgrim. She came here just like the pilgrims long ago, so she could worship God in her own way in peace and freedom." Miss Stickley stared at Elizabeth. "Elizabeth, do you know where the pilgrims got the idea for Thanksgiving?" "They just thought it up, Miss Stickley," Elizabeth said. "No, Elizabeth," Miss Stickley replied. "They read in the Bible about the Jewish harvest holiday of tabernacles." "I knew that holiday. We called it Sukkoth." Okay, so Molly actually has celebrated Thanksgiving. It was just called something different, and they probably did very similar activities. Miss Stickley was still talking. "The Pilgrims got the idea for Thanksgiving from Jews like Molly and her mama." She marched down the aisle to my desk again. "May I have your doll for a while, Molly?" "Sure," I said. "I'm going to put this beautiful doll on my desk," Miss Stickley announced, "where everyone can see it all the time. It will remind us that pilgrims are still coming to America." She smiled at me. "I'd like to meet your mama, Molly. Please ask her to come to see me one day after school." "Your doll is the most beautiful, Molly," Emma said. Emma sat next to me. "Your doll is the most beautiful one of all." I nodded. "Yes," I said, "I know." I decided if Miss Stickley actually invited her, it was all right for Mama to come to school. I decided something else, too. I decided it takes all kinds of pilgrims to make a Thanksgiving.